I want to take a minute to talk about identity. Identity is one of the major things in our lives that controls the things that we do, the way that we think, the future that we see for ourselves. It controls a lot. And so many people explore their identity at earlier points in life, and they figure out who they are, and you can see an era of confidence about them. You know, they're aware, their awareness of who they are is evident. And then you have some people who are late bloomers and they are having issues with identity, and that just comes from the fact that they have not explored so much of their desires and wants and different things like that that gave them a sense of who they are. And it also has to do with those that are speaking into your life. They could have placed an identity in for yourself, and so the way that they told you about you made you believe a certain thing about yourself that affected your identity. And so if they told you some things about you that you didn't actually really agree with, but you just accepted, that can affect the way that your confusion about who you really are. And so then you have some healthy situations in which, you know, people have said things about who you are and that have affected your identity. And that has helped you to have more confidence. And so if you are that person who felt like that you are having issues with knowing who you are and your worth and all of that stuff, it's okay, because I've been there, and I've really been there because I grew up with my parents and with my brothers talking a lot into my life and affecting my life a lot. You know, they would even talk amongst each other, they still do, about me and what I do, but I just don't care anymore. But I let a lot of my decisions go to them. I was very just naive, and I was afraid to kind of do a lot of certain things as a child, because I felt like I would get in trouble, or I felt, you know, that type of thing. I just wanted to listen and obey and that type of thing. And then that slowly just really took away the power for myself and knowing what myself and my gut was saying about different things. To a degree. And so that therefore had affected my identity. And since I didn't really know who I was, it affected even relationships, like who I would date, because it's just like, all right, well, I think I want this, but then you're just exploring through those relationships. And I spent a long time in a relationship that wasn't, you know, the best thing for me. But if you don't even know who you are, you could be in relationships and spending time and trying to figure things out, but you don't have a great sense of who you are. That's why relationships are so great, though, to affect you, and it forces you to confront who you are, because it forces you to say, I don't like this, like this is not me, that I don't deserve this, or I do like this is the stuff that I like, this is how, you know. So all of the things that you encounter in life, when you go through different problems, to be honest, when you go through different situations, relationships, and all of that stuff, that teaches you so much about who you are. And then I cannot leave this out. God teaches you who you are. When you know that our Creator brought us here to be like Him, and to be creators as well, and that we are His children, we are from Him. When you have that sense of knowing about that part, and you know that you are important, you know that you inherited the kingdom, and that, you know, everything that, you know, is within the kingdom you have access to. Like, there's different things like that you search out, and that you read upon, and that you get to understand, that gives you that sense and that of that identity, and that I am, and that conviction about yourself, leading to the confidence with yourself. And so I just wanted to really touch on how important identity is, because it just affects our daily being and how we interact with people and how we interact with ourselves and the things that we decide to do. If I thought that I was a bad person, I would think that I don't deserve certain things and I wouldn't go for certain things, or I might do self-destructive things. I might even turn to outlets like drugs and things like that. And so different things could have made you get to a point to be like that and not feel that you're deserving. But sorry, I'm getting a phone call. I should have put this on do not disturb. But if at the end of the day, there's your gut that's whispering something to you and saying that this is not true, or if you're feeling like not worth it and feeling not a great self-worth, there's still something that feels funny about that. Like, you don't even feel like it doesn't feel right, because if it aligned, you would feel good. You would be like, yeah, no. So I just wanted to touch on identity. I wanted to say that it affects everything. And if you are struggling with understanding yourself, and you just need to rely on exploration, right? You need to rely on your gut more, instead of trying to see what people think and approve of you and your thoughts and all of that stuff. Start to decide on your own. So it's really just a rewiring. Anything in anybody, in any mind, can be rewired. And so it's literally the daily consistent decisions that you make on your own, and that you are willing to explore different things that you're willing to do in that way, that's leading to you being a stronger and a person, and knowing who you are, knowing your wants, knowing your worth, and all of that stuff. And so I encourage you, read up on the Bible, or read up on God, or read up on what it is, and different self-help books and all of that stuff, because that helps you to get that sense of awareness. And then also is in the different life situations, whether it's a relationship, don't push away from certain experiences and say, well, I don't want to, I don't want to, just being an avoidant person. It's important to have those things, because that teaches you more about who you are and where you stand on different things. And it teaches you about your gut. The more things that you encounter in your process and your journey of life, it teaches you so much about you, and that leads to your identity. And I also want to say one last thing, is that it's interesting, even when there's relationships, if somebody identify you as for instance, their best friend, they're then going to have certain expectations just because they see you in that way. And so that's why even identity in the way that you identify others is so strong, because if I'm identifying this person, oh, they're my best friend, are they supposed to do this? Oh, this is my boyfriend, he's supposed to do that. It's all of that stuff. So if you can dish that out on somebody else, then you know that when it comes to yourself, and you see yourself as a certain way, it's going to be like, oh, well, I operate like this because this is how I identify myself. Or if, say, you don't have a good, strong identity about yourself, and you just have no idea, then you're just kind of lackadaisical. You're kind of just, apathetic about anything. You're like, I don't even know. I don't even care. I don't, because you give your decisions away. Like, so just understand that could be rewired, and it's all just noticing how important identity is, and then making the conscious effort to do that daily practice and to read different things to gain that awareness and to encounter experiences. Experience is the best teacher, and really the only teacher that's going to give you that sense of identity. So you're not alone. I was there, and it's not an ending journey. I'm still exploring with life and everything. But I definitely have that stronger sense of that I am and of who I am, and that's something that you will gain too in your journey.